Assalamu alaikum. As we've discussed before, it is part of our methodology not to use an intermediate language in teaching Arabic to non-native speakers. For those who would like to know why, you may refer to our article or video in this regard for more details. However, we agreed that we will use the intermediate language only for very limited purposes. Our first lesson in our first introductory level is the most lesson we'll be using the intermediate language in. You may really like it, but I would like to apologize for this, as the next lessons will be much less in using the intermediate language. This is our first lesson, our first step in our introductory book, which is our first book, Al-Kitab Al-Tamhidi, Arabic for non-native speakers, part 1. Our first lesson is the alphabets. The alphabets. What we call in Arabic huruf al-hija. Huruf means letters, alphabets. Here you see the complete set of alphabets in one page, summarized in one page. There are 28 letters. Of course, in Arabic we write from right to left, and as you see here, this dotted line shows you how to write the letter. When it is exactly on the line, it hits the line here, it stands on the line here, or when it starts over the line and it ends below the line, or here for example it starts exactly on the line and it ends below the line. So this is the purpose of writing the dotted line here. In the next slide you will see how to write each letter when it comes at the beginning of the word, in the middle of the word, at the end of the word, finally when it comes separate or standalone, isolated. Most of the letters, as you may have noticed, are presented in groups. This is alone, but this comes in as a separate group or family. Each group has its unique shape, with differences mainly in the number of dots below, over, or maybe inside the letter here. In the near future, we will show you different grouping of alphabets, depending on the source of the letter, depending on the voice, the source of the letter's voice, not the shape of the alphabets. So we'll see in one group letters with different close nature and voice, with very close nature and voice. First letter in the alphabets is the Alif. This is the name of the letter Alif. However, the sound is A. You can notice when you say A, it is not a letter that has an end of the voice, meaning you can say A or A, depending on the speed of the speaking. So no specific place where voice comes from, a touch or a hit of tongue, for example. This type of letter we call in Arabic harf mad, harfu mad, outstretched letter. As you see, when you pronounce the letter A, your mouth opens vertically. So the shape of the letter Alif is like a vertically standing stick. Okay, when you pronounce it it opens vertically, and so the shape is close to how you pronounce it. Since we're speaking about outstretched letters, let's talk about the other two. Let's skip the order of the alphabets and let's go to the final and last two letters.
Wow.
Okay. The second one is wow, and again this is the name of the letter, while its voice is oo, and also you can say it, and you can say oh, oo, or you can say oo or oo, depending on the speed of your speaking. Your mouth shape here is oo, oo. It's like a circle, oo. So like a circle with oo, oo. And so the shape of this oo. The third outstretched letter, yeah, yeah. This is the name of the letter. We pronounce it as a, ay, ay. When the letter before is alif, a, ay, for example. While we pronounce it as e, e, when the formation of the letter before is kasra. When the formation is kasra, or what we call small ya, e, e. Your mouth shape when pronouncing this letter, e, e, it opens horizontally, like when you smile, e, and so the shape of the letter e, like this, e. Okay. Back to the next family, which is the 3 letters here. First one is ba. This is the name of the letter ba. This we say ba when it comes before the alif, ba, ba. However, its sound is ib, ib. Shape of this family is like a small boat. Let's look at the family here. Ba, ta, tha. It's like a small boat here. Okay. The second one. Okay, the first one is the ba, where the dot comes below the letter, below here, below. So ba, below. So ba is below. The second one, when we have the 2 dots over and above the letter, 2, ta. The second one is ta, ta, and the sound of it is it, it. It has the same boat but with 2 dots, so 2, ta, 2. This is the nice smiley letter, smiley shape, with a smiley mouth and 2 eyes, right? The third letter in this family is tha. The letter tha is the third one here in this group, and its sound is tha. Tha when the alif comes after. In other cases we say if. It has the same boat shape again, but with 3 dots here over the letter 3. So 3 for tha, tha, 3. In the next session we'll proceed the same way in discussing the remaining alphabets. In the next slide, in this slide, as you see, we have other letters presented to you in details. The letter ba here, the letter ba, for example, you see here the formation of the letter. First is ba. First one is ba. This is we call this fatha. Fatha, ba, ba. Okay. Then we have this dhamma, bu, bu. And we have this what we call kasra. Sorry. B. And when we have no formation here, this is sukoon. So b, b. And notice here that the fatha here in this case the ba, the fatha here, is more like a small alif. Remember when we took the alif, when we discussed alif, it is a small so we say and this is a small wow, small so and this is a small ya, small e. Okay. Then we present to you the letter ba when it comes in different positions in the word. First, when it comes at the beginning of the word, like day. This is when it comes in red here. It's shown in red when it comes at the beginning of the word. And here you see the picture, an example of the bayt, which is the house here. Second, when it comes at the middle of the word, jabal. Okay, like a mountain. When it comes in the middle, here we show you how we write it when it comes in the middle. In the third example, here we have when it comes at the end of the word, but attached to the last, the one before the last, to the letter before the last letter, it is attached to it. So an example of it is talib. Talib. It's not ta, not talib, it's talib. This is the letter that you do not have in English. We'll come to that very soon when we discuss the families from different perspectives. And finally, when it comes alone, like bab. This is when it comes isolated, we may say, or when it comes stand alone, or when it comes separate, not attached to the previous, to the one before the last one. It comes separate. In the next session, we'll go through the remaining letters and we'll practice writing each letter, each in its 4 formats. But before that, let's flip just to show you other examples of other letters here. For example, sin. Here's samaka. Jaras. And so on. The practice, we always have to make sure that we practice writing skills. For example, here the ba, harful ba, the one we took right now. We just want to practice this letter. For example, here, this is when it comes at the beginning of the word ba. Forgive me for my date. Bayt, and so on and so forth. Once finished, it will look like this. It's very important that each one of you practices the writing of all the alphabets and in all positions, in all cases. It is also a good chance that you start building your vocabulary and create your own dictionary from the words we presented to you. So you'll have maybe more than 100 words only from this lesson or from this part. We're giving you for each letter at least 4 words that you can learn and build on. Hope you enjoyed this lesson with Dura Language Center, and see you in the next session.